Ford, Toyota, and GM, three of the biggest names in the game, just revealed their new water engines, and let me tell you, it will destroy the entire EV and gasoline industry. You see, these aren't just some pie-in-the-sky news, they are making it happen right before our eyes. And it is insane. I mean, can you even begin to fathom the implications? This will change the entire industry forever. Let me explain. What's happening? Well, these big shot car makers are diving into the unknown, swapping out the familiar roar of gas engines for the whisper quiet hum of hydrogen power. Now, this is undoubtedly a good thing. There's no denying that. It can change transportation forever, but that also means disrupting the status quo, and that will definitely affect you one way or the other. But how? And we need to get ahead of the implications because all three of them are almost ready to duke it out on the free market pretty soon. Right now, these car companies are in a race against the clock to get their water-powered wonders on the road. But will they pull it off and change the world forever? Or will their dreams of a cleaner future go up in smoke, together with all the changes it brings, good or bad? Well, there's only one way to find out, so let's dive into the details. How does this work? The journey starts with water electrolysis, which is where the magic happens. Imagine taking a glass of H2O and splitting it apart using a nifty electric current through a device known as an electrolyzer. This process breaks water down into its basic components, hydrogen and oxygen. It's like transforming something simple into a powerhouse of energy. Next up, we move on to hydrogen collection, a critical step in this whole operation. Once the hydrogen gas is generated through electrolysis, it's gathered up and stored in tanks, ready and waiting for its big moment. This concentrated hydrogen holds incredible potential for fueling the vehicle's engine. But how does that hydrogen actually power the car? That's where combustion or fuel cells come into play. The stored hydrogen can take one of two routes. First, it can be combusted in an internal combustion engine, where it burns to unleash energy, creating just water vapor as a byproduct. Talk about a clean energy source. Alternatively, the hydrogen can be used in fuel cells, where it reacts with oxygen to produce electricity and, yes, you guessed it, water. It's a win-win for both innovation and environmental sustainability. Now, let's talk about energy production. The power generated from either the combustion process or the electricity produced in the fuel cells is what ultimately drives the vehicle's motor. It's all about making that energy work hard for you, transforming water into motion and allowing you to hit the road while doing good for the planet. Thanks to this pioneering technology, the only emission released from the combustion of hydrogen is water vapor. That's right, not only does this method power your ride, but it does so in a way that's incredibly friendly to Mother Earth, putting it leagues ahead of traditional fuel sources. It's a bold step towards sustainable transportation, proving that even our most essential resources can be reimagined in exciting Earth-friendly ways. Curious about what this means for the future of driving? The possibilities are endless. But why has no one made it before? Now, you'd think with all the brain power out there, someone would have figured this whole thing out by now, right? Well, kind of. You've got your garage tinkerers and your big shot visionaries, all making these claims that sound like they were ripped straight from the pages of a sci-fi blockbuster. Back in 2008, a Japanese company called Genapax unveiled a car that they claimed could run on nothing but water and air. Yep, you read that right. Water and air. They had figured it out all along. They said their onboard energy generator could extract hydrogen from the water, powering the whole shebang. But the scientific community was having none of it, dismissing their claims as total rubbish, because it was just that, rubbish. And that same year, a Sri Lankan dude named Tushara Priyamal Adirasinghe took things even further, claiming he could drive a water-powered car 300 kilometers on just 3 measly liters of water. He said he was using electrolysis to generate the hydrogen, but guess what? He ended up getting arrested on suspicion of investment fraud. You see, this isn't the first time we've heard these kinds of claims. History is chock full of self-proclaimed geniuses who swear they've cracked the code on water-powered propulsion. The sad truth is, most of these claims have turned out to be either complete misunderstandings of basic physics or straight-up deception. Take the case of Stanley Meyer, for instance. In the 1990s, this guy burst onto the scene with his so-called water fuel cell. He claimed his invention could split water into hydrogen and oxygen with hardly any energy input. The media ate it up, and investors were chomping at the bit to get in on the action, but the scientific community wasn't convinced, and they were right to be skeptical. Meyer's device was eventually exposed as a flat-out fraud. And if that wasn't weird enough, his untimely death only added an extra layer of mystery to an already murky story. On March 20th, 1998, while dining at a restaurant in Franklin County, Ohio, Meyer suddenly collapsed and died. Official reports attributed his death to a cerebral aneurysm, but no one expected this sudden turn of events from someone so focused on revolutionizing energy technology. So just a few days after his passing, whispers began to swirl around the circumstances of his death. Eyewitness accounts described him as frantic before collapsing, claiming that he had sensed an imminent threat to his life. Adding fuel to the speculation, his dune buggy, associated with his water fuel cell project, was stolen shortly after he died, seemingly disappearing without a trace. This theft sparked theories that Meyer knew too much about his technology's potential, posing a significant risk to powerful interests, which may have led to foul play. Friends and family were divided. While some held onto the belief that he might have been murdered to silence his groundbreaking ideas, others pointed to the medical evidence supporting an aneurysm as the cause of death. But the water-powered car saga doesn't end there. Oh no. In 2002, there was Genesis World Energy boasting a device that could extract energy from H2O. They raked in the investor cash but never managed to deliver a working product. And the owner, Patrick Kelly, ended up behind bars for fraud in 2006. That same year, Genepax, remember them, made headlines again when a Sri Lankan named Tushara Priyal Desingha claimed he'd driven a car 190 miles on just 3 liters of water. Even the Prime Minister backed him. Tushara was later arrested for fraud because his claims were about as real as a flying unicorn. But that is not all. In 2022, an Indonesian inventor named Arianto Mele introduced the Incuba device, which he said could convert water into hydrogen fuel. Get this, he claimed it could power motorcycles for a whopping 500 km on a single liter of water. And he even said big-name brands like Lamborghini and Ferrari were interested, but the scientists in Indonesia weren't buying it, calling his claims a total defiance of the laws of physics. So, what's the deal? Why can't anyone seem to crack this water-powered code once and for all? Is it all just a pipe dream, or is there actually something to it? Well, no. This is a very possible thing to achieve, but nobody said it was going to be easy. The reality is, this is so hard to make. There are lots of challenges that come with it. So let's dissect everything together. Why is it so hard? First up, we've got the infrastructure hurdle. Unlike those battery-powered electric vehicles with their fancy charging stations, these water-powered rides need a whole new fueling network. We're talking retrofitting gas stations, setting up home refueling systems, the works. And trust me, that's no easy feat. It's going to take a ton of coordination and serious cash to get this hydro-powered show on the road. But that's not the only challenge these automakers are facing. You see, these companies are the ones who lead those established EV technologies, major players who have poured billions into battery tech and infrastructure, and a sudden shift to water power could really throw a wrench in their plans. Add to that the fact that EVs already have a strong foothold with consumers, and it's clear these hydro engines have an uphill battle ahead. Then there's the nitty-gritty of the technology itself. Hydrogen might be the fuel of the future, but it's no easy beast to tame. Its low energy density means we need high-pressure storage tanks, which can be a total headache to handle. And don't even get me started on the safety concerns. This highly flammable gas ain't no joke. These companies are going to need some serious engineering chops and rigorous safety protocols to win over the public. And let's not forget the environmental and resource management challenges. Sure, hydro engines promise zero emissions, but what about the water itself? In water-scarce regions, extracting and purifying all that H2O for fuel could be a real environmental nightmare. These automakers better have a solid plan to keep things sustainable. Finally, there's the biggie, market acceptance. Convincing people to switch to water power is going to take some serious marketing magic and a whole lot of demonstrating those clear advantages, like faster refueling times and a smaller eco footprint. Now, that's a whole lot of obstacles to overcome, but you know what they say, where there's a will, there's a way. These water-powered visionaries are gonna have to dig deep, get creative, and prove to the world that there's more than one path to a sustainable automotive future. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room, adaptation of manufacturing processes. When it comes to the nuts and bolts of manufacturing, we're talking about adopting entirely new assembly lines designed for water propulsion technology. Forget that tried and true assembly line for electric and gas engines. This is a whole new ball game. Factories will need to rethink rethink everything from the tools used to the layout of equipment, all while ensuring they can safely handle hydrogen, the superhero fuel of our new power sources. New safety protocols will become the norm, making sure that every production process keeps both workers and products safe. Now let's get into the heart of the matter, the components. Water engines require a whole different set of materials than what manufacturers are used to with gas and battery systems. We're talking about specialized components for things like hydrogen fuel cells and those nifty electrolysis systems that turn water into pure energy. Manufacturers will have to scramble to find suppliers who can provide these new materials, leading to exciting partnerships and potentially even rivalries within the industry. And what about training the workforce? The people putting these vehicles together will need a new set of skills. They won't just be wrenching on engines anymore. They'll be recalibrating their expertise to handle hydrogen extraction, fuel cell technologies, and innovative water systems. This is where things get really interesting. There's an incredible opportunity for new jobs to emerge. From engineers specialized in these technologies to technicians who understand the intricacies of the manufacturing process. We're on the brink of a skills renaissance. But wait, there's also the logistics factor. As water engines take center stage, manufacturers will need to consider how the entire supply chain adapts. Gone are the days of simply sourcing battery components. They'll need to build an ecosystem around water fuel. This transformation could shift the landscape of the supply chain dramatically as brands and suppliers come together to meet the demands of this revolutionary technology. In essence, adapting manufacturing processes for water-powered cars is no walk in the park. So what did Ford do? Well, it's all about transition, not upheaval. They're cleverly weaving the best of both worlds together, making those loyal to combustion engines comfortable with a future-proof twist. This move could be the perfect blend for folks who love the sound of an engine roar but want to be environmentally friendly. So what does this all mean? Well, Ford's not just jumping on the green bandwagon. They're taking the wheel and setting a new course. It's about keeping the heart of the drive alive while steering us towards a cleaner future. But what about GM? Well, just recently, GM pulled the curtains back on an exciting joint venture with Honda. The goal? To crank out hydrogen fuel cells on a commercial scale. This is a massive leap in their commitment to creating a future of zero-emission transportation that we can all get behind. So what exactly can we expect from this partnership? Well, the joint venture is geared towards manufacturing hydrogen fuel cell systems that aren't just useful for one niche area. We're talking commercial trucks, heavy-duty equipment, and even generators. This isn't just about dipping toes into alternative energy. It's about launching a reliable new power source that could effectively replace those old-school gas engines we all know and love. Well, sort of. The fact that GM is gearing up to launch hydrogen fuel cell production clearly shows they mean business when it comes to taking the lead on alternative fuel technologies. Their focus is razor sharp, developing environmentally conscious solutions that could one day power anything from your everyday cars to massive industrial machinery. But Toyota is one step ahead of them. Let me explain. Toyota's grand plan. Toyota has made significant strides in developing water-powered vehicles, primarily focusing on hydrogen fuel cell technology. These guys have already made a functional car based on this technology, the Toyota Mirai. This sleek, eye-catching hydrogen fuel cell car runs on hydrogen sourced straight from water. The Mirai takes hydrogen gas and turns it into electricity through a neat chemical reaction with oxygen in the fuel cell. The best part, it produces absolutely zero emissions. Just a little bit of water vapor as its only byproduct. So, eco-conscious drivers, if you're hunting for a sustainable ride, the Mirai is definitely a compelling choice for you. And while the Mirai is available for those of us looking to hit the road, Toyota isn't stopping there. Their vision is way broader than just passenger cars. They're diving headfirst into promoting hydrogen as a legit energy source for all kinds of applications. We are talking about public transportation, heavy-duty commercial vehicles, and even industrial setups. Toyota is teaming up with other manufacturers and governments to create a robust hydrogen infrastructure that makes refueling these vehicles as effortless as filling up your gas tank. And that's not all. Toyota's commitment to water-powered technology goes even further. They're deeply invested in research and development when it comes to hydrogen production and storage. This means they're on the hunt for more efficient ways to produce hydrogen from water, playing around with innovations in electrolysis, and tapping into renewable energy sources to make the whole process even greener, which is such a good thing. But what are the benefits to you exactly? First up, let's talk about zero emissions, and then there's efficiency. Not only do these engines challenge the efficiency of traditional gasoline and even electric vehicles, but they promise to do it with a far more sustainable fuel source. Plus, think about it, a fuel that's already all around us, making it infinitely more accessible than fossil fuels. Water is an incredibly abundant resource. We've got it all around us. The potential for water engines to act as sustainable vehicles is immense, leading to a brighter and greener future. What about our reliance on fossil fuels? By embracing water-powered engines, we can significantly cut down on our dependence on oil and gas. This transition is crucial, not just for curbing greenhouse gas emissions, but also for tackling the pressing issue of climate change head-on. It's a win-win all around. Now let's shine a light on efficiency for a sec. Hydrogen fuel cells have a unique way of converting chemical energy directly into electrical energy. This process is more efficient than the traditional combustion method used in internal combustion engines. What does this mean for you? Simply put, it translates to better energy use and longer driving ranges for vehicles powered by hydrogen. You'll be able to go further on a single fuel source, making life a whole lot easier for everyone. And who doesn't appreciate convenience? Water engines come with the perk of rapid refueling. In just a few minutes, you can fill up your tank much like you would with a conventional gasoline vehicle. This is a key advantage over battery electric vehicles, which can often require lengthy charging times. Imagine a world where you can fill up your car quickly and be on your way. But wait, there's even more to love about hydrogen. Not only can it fuel your vehicle, but hydrogen also has the potential to act as an energy storage solution. Excess renewable energy generated from wind, solar, and other sources can be converted into hydrogen and saved for later use. This dual functionality bolsters grid stability, allowing us to use renewable resources more effectively and efficiently. Plus, water-powered engines aren't just limited to personal vehicles, they can be adapted for a wide range of applications. From buses and trucks to trains and even ships, the possibilities are astounding. This adaptability means that we can revolutionize not just personal transportation, but also public transit and heavy-duty shipping. And also, we need to highlight the potential for significant economic growth and job creation that comes with the expansion of the hydrogen economy. As this sector develops, we'll see people employed in manufacturing, infrastructure development, and maintenance of hydrogen facilities. Sure, it will destroy some. Sure, it will destroy the already established systems, but this transition opens up new markets and opportunities galore within the clean energy realm, paving the way for a more sustainable future. The question is it worth it? Well, let's talk about it. What's the impact on EVs? You know how everyone's been raving about electric cars lately? Right now, battery electric vehicles are the cool kids on the block. I mean, with over 6 million of them cruising around the globe as of 2022, they've definitely made their mark. Tesla and Nissan have been killing it. But imagine when hydrogen vehicles crash the party, they'll change everything. What's the big deal? For starters, with hydrogen-powered vehicles steadily gaining a solid foothold in the market, it's inevitable that consumer perspectives on clean transportation options will shift dramatically, and these hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are stepping up with some pretty sweet perks that might just make you do a double take or even switch sides. Think about it, you roll up to a hydrogen station and boom, 3 to 5 minutes later, you're back on the road. Compare that to waiting around for 30 minutes to several hours to juice up a battery electric car. And don't even get me started on range. The Toyota Mirai, that bad boy can cruise for about 400 miles on a full tank. The Tesla Model 3, about 358 miles. I don't know about you, but I'm all about spending less time at pit stops and more time on the open road. Plus, this is one of the industry's first car. To compare to the top of the league Model 3 and still winning is truly impressive. So as more people catch wind of these hydrogen-powered wonders, the market's going to start looking like an all-you-can-eat buffet of options. Manufacturers are going to be scrambling to cook up new hydrogen models to suit every taste. And get this, the International Energy Agency's crystal ball shows the global hydrogen economy could be worth a whopping $700 billion by 2030. That's billion with a B, folks. But the rise of hydrogen fuel cells is lighting a fire under automakers' bottoms to pour money into R&D like there's no tomorrow. We're talking both hydrogen and battery tech getting major upgrades. It's like a high-stakes race to see who can come up with the coolest, most efficient rides. And maybe we can even see a car that's got the best of both worlds. The quick fill-ups of hydrogen and the energy-sipping ways of electric. We're talking about hybrid systems that could change the game completely. Imagine cruising through the city on battery power, then switching switching to hydrogen for those long road trips. No more range anxiety, my friends. So what's the bottom line? Well, only time will tell. This auto industry is fast and, let's be honest, a bit too volatile. But the good thing is, we're all gonna win. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's paving the way for a cleaner, greener future on our roads. And that, my friends, is always good, but here's the thing, everything has its pros and cons, always. And often these types of things are not as simple as black and white. So how will it affect us? First up, let's talk infrastructure costs. You think building a few charging stations for EVs was expensive? Try setting up a whole hydrogen fueling network from scratch. We're talking billions, maybe even trillions of dollars to get this show on the road. And guess who's likely footing a big chunk of that bill? Yep, taxpayers. Your hard-earned cash might be going towards fancy hydrogen stations instead of, I don't know, fixing that pothole you've been cursing at for months. To get this hydrogen train rolling, the government's likely gonna have to throw a ton of money at it. That means less cash for other important stuff like education, healthcare, or fixing that darn pothole I mentioned earlier. And let's get serious now. Let's chat about job losses. Sure, the hydrogen economy might create some shiny new jobs, but what about all the folks in traditional auto and energy sectors? We're looking at potential mass layoffs as gas stations, oil refineries, and conventional car factories become outdated. It's like musical chairs, but when the music stops, not everyone's gonna have a seat in this new economy. Here's another doozy, energy prices. While hydrogen might stabilize prices in the long run, the short term could be a wild ride. As we transition, we might see crazy fluctuations in both traditional fuel prices and hydrogen costs. It's like trying to predict the weather in spring. One day it's sunshine, the next it's storming, and your wallet's caught in the middle. Imagine all the countries that depend on this industry. Right now, everyone is thinking about one thing. If other countries beat us to the punch in perfecting hydrogen tech, we could end up economically dependent on foreign hydrogen tech the same way America has been hooked on foreign oil. It's like trading one addiction for another, and the economy could end up with a nasty hangover. And let's say you are the first. Affordability? That's a whole other can of worms. Early adopters of hydrogen tech are going to be paying through the nose. We're talking luxury car prices for what's essentially an eco-friendly science experiment on wheels. This could widen the economic gap, with only the well-off able to participate in the early stages of this green revolution. It's not all doom and gloom, but it's definitely not a free ride to economic prosperity either. And again, the question is it worth it? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and subscribe so I can see you on the next video.